When you spend 2 decades wearing a motorcycle club patch, serving in leadership, and half a century raised in the life, among some of the largest organizations on record, there are several life lessons to be learned. This is one of those lessons. Once upon a time, an opportunity was presented for us to lease a biker bar, with a long and rich history that had been shuttered due to a misfortune of the owner. This was a rare golden opportunity for a club chapter to obtain a legal, revenue-generating business establishment that included a 2-bedroom apartment above the business, where we could also have a private clubhouse. This particular street happened to house 3 biker bars in a row, and had a long history of what we'll call intense fellowship. There had been generations of blood spilled on this street, and it was not a place for the faint-hearted. It was a well-known area to law enforcement, who made frequent visits to this particular block over the course of several decades. So we immediately set forth to establish a policy that this was not the place to fuck around and find out. Everyone was welcome to come in and enjoy the atmosphere and camaraderie, and if you didn't start any shit, there wouldn't be any shit. Unfortunately, there was always going to be that one guy who either couldn't handle his liquor or just lived his life trying to make other people miserable. I received a call from our weeknight bartender that there was a fellow at the bar, half in the bag and running his mouth, treating people like shit, but that he was also boasting that he was a member of a well-known club in our area. There were only 2 established diamond clubs and 1 other well-known club with long history in our area. We were affiliated with one of them. Sometimes it's not as simple as bouncing somebody out of a bar because there may be club politics involved. A courtesy call was made to the club that he was claiming affiliation, and I headed down to the bar. When I rolled in, 2 members from the club that he was claiming affiliation rode in at the same time. Both were well-established leaders in that particular state. The guy in question was quickly located, and of course he knew who I was, being in the club that I was in and the bar that he was in. Plus, I had 2 prospective members of our club who met me there. Standing in the parking lot with the 2 other club members and my 2 prospects flanking me, I simply asked one question. I said, "Hey bud, I understand you seem to have a problem with about everybody in my bar, but I'm willing to let you explain yourself because I understand that you are a member of the particular club that he had mentioned." Well, he gave the wrong answer. When he said, "Yes, I'm a member of the club that he had mentioned, what the fuck's it to you?" I might suggest that saying something like that when you're standing in front of 2 state leaders of a club who don't even know who you are is probably not the best idea. I stepped back out of the way, and let's just say his memory was corrected. I never said another word to the man, nor did I put hands on him. I thought that was that, until about a month later when the local Gestapo law enforcement stopped by my house to deliver a subpoena on 12 felony charges stemming from that incident. One would think that if there were 12 felony charges on a case, that they would have issued an arrest warrant, but it was simply a notice to appear, claiming outlandish accusations that were completely false. It seems a man had sustained some injuries in the process of his recollection and correction of his memory. As I already stated truthfully, I never laid a hand on the guy, yet they piled the charges on me and nobody else. Honestly, I didn't know to the level his memory was going to be corrected, and in that it taught me a valuable lesson. Had his memory been corrected to the point of permanent or total damage, the accusations and level of charges that were thrown at me could have been even more severe and more costly to defend. It taught me right then and there that every decision that I made, every other person that I involved, could and likely would result in a ripple effect even well after the decision was made. So every decision that I made for the many years after that, I thought deeply in a 3-dimensional way, so that I could predetermine what the ripple effects from that decision would be and whom it might involve. We even had a name for it. It was called playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. You see, most people are just trying to win the battle instead of focusing on the long-term effects of the war. If you're not thinking 3 steps ahead in every direction of every decision, the results could be detrimental. That's true with every aspect of life, not just the club life. I wish I could say that I was right every time after, but that wouldn't be true. But I can say we were a lot closer to the bullseye thereafter. Oh, and those 12 felony charges? Yeah, the prosecutor entered a motion to dismiss all charges at the pretrial because there wasn't an ounce of evidence supporting their false accusations. But the fact remains that I took a dozen felony charges to trial, with the possibility of 36 years in prison if convicted, and I didn't try to cut any deal or ever have a conversation with the lying prosecutor or any of their henchmen to try and save my own ass while throwing everyone else under the bus. There's not enough of that going around these days in the life. But what the hell do I know? I'm just Tabasco the Biker. Keep it real.